Yeah, hello. Today we want to look at diabetes and some of the fruits you need to eat or not to eat if you have diabetes 1 or 2, or probably diabetes 1 and 2. So today we want to educate our listeners, we want to educate our viewers, our fans, especially people with diabetes type 1 and 2 on what the kind of fruits you need to eat and not to eat. And in some of our previous videos, we have talked about diabetes and the cause of diabetes and some of the food that causes diabetes. But this time I will just also add one or two things to make it like, okay, fruits to eat and not to eat if you have diabetes 1 or diabetes 2. And if you look at that, in some of our videos, look at when the operation of the insulin is being disrupted. That is when the bile is not producing enough insulin. That's one of the causes of diabetes. And so everything to go back to what the intake, what you eat. People will say, okay, if you have diabetes, eat these fruits or not. So you want to look at that, and we would like to look at the kind of fruit you eat if you have diabetes at first. So some of the fruits you need to eat if you have diabetes, either type 1 or diabetes 2. The first one is garden egg. A garden egg is a fruit, is more of a fiber fruit, which is very good. It doesn't contain sugar and it contains lots and lot of fibers in it, which helps you to aid digestion. And it also contains antioxidant. So it means that if you're taking more of garden egg, then you are free if you have diabetes. You do not add more to your sugar levels. And you also need to take blueberries as well. Blueberries also contain antioxidant and doesn't contain sugar, as well as cabbage that is being used in salad, that's being used in coleslaw, in anything you want to do. Cabbage also helps in digesting fast digestion because of it contains high amount of fibers and others. Another fruit which you can take if you have diabetes type 1 or type 2, or if you have maybe like either of those, but diabetes, apricot. Apricot is a fruit that is very rich in vitamin C. It's also rich in some other substances like manganese and potassium and all those things, so which are very good for body and cell development. So if you are to take this, if you have diabetes either type 2 or type 1, then apricot is good. Then apples are carbs, and from my research, apples also contain antioxidants, which also helps remove toxins from the body. It also prevents cancer as well, but very good for diabetes because it doesn't contain sugar and it contains a lot of vitamins. And we also look at oranges as well. Oranges are good for diabetic people, especially because it contains vitamin C, and it also contains some mineral substances like potassium, like the manganese and all those, which helps in body building and development. And if you look at the characteristics and the importance of oranges, obviously help in digestion because it contains vitamins, and it also has lot of fibers in it, which helps in digestion. Then kiwi is also another substance which is rich in antioxidants. It contains free radicals which help remove cancerous cells in the body, and it is also good for the heart and also for fast digestion. Almost all the fruits are very good for digestion, which is a good one. Then pear is more of fiber. It contains more than 70% of fibers, which help in fast digestion, which also helps in increasing the body metabolism. But if you have diabetes 1 or 2 or diabetes 2, you are free to take it because it doesn't contain sugar, it contains antioxidants, and it's very, very good. Then now let's look at cherry also. Cherry contains a lot of vitamins. It also contains natural antioxidants, which helps remove toxins from the body, and it also helps in killing cancerous cells and discharges in the body of toxic materials in the body. And also it is very good for the heart because it contains substances, minerals, which helps in heart regulations and all. They also look at strawberry also. Strawberry contains very rich in vitamins, even more than oranges, according to research. And it also contains a lot of fibers in it, which helps in digestion and metabolism. The strawberry also helps in detoxing the body, removing free radicals from the body, removing unwanted materials in the body. So, based on what I've said, we have looked at blueberries, we have looked at garden egg, we have looked at cabbage, we have looked at apricot, apples, oranges, kiwi, pear, cherry, strawberry, and others. Now, let's look at the kind of fruits you don't need to eat if you are diabetic. Now, one of those things is that those food might probably add to your sugar level, or obstruct the production of insulin in the body, or make you feel sick, or make you dizzy, and can also make you, some of the symptoms. When the sugar level in the body is too much, and the insulin is obstructed in activities, and even the kidney and the liver cannot digest some of those something. And that's when you know that, okay, this is going. So diabetes is not something that is very hard, but it can be managed by taking some fruits and not taking some. So we have discussed the fruits you can be taking. But now let's look at the fruits that you might not take if you have diabetes. And the first one, based on research, based on medical considerations, is pineapple. Pineapple contains a lot of sugar for diabetic people. You are not strong, and so although it has fibers in it, it also has its own advantage. But pineapple isn't something you can take if you have diabetic type 2 or type 1. And you also look at mango. Mango has lots of calories in it. If you look at mango, especially the wine and the cherry mango, contains a lot of sugar, contains a lot of calories in it, which might not be a good suggestion for somebody who is having shortage of insulin. And so, do away with mango and pineapple. Then I've seen lot of materials where watermelon has been seen as a very good one, and I can tell you that although it contains all the vitamins, but it has a lot of sugar in it also. It increases the sugar level, and it's not good for diabetic people. It's not good for people living with diabetes. So you can take, despite the fact that watermelon it contains more fiber, but it has sugar in it. So if you are taking more of watermelon, thinking, okay, you are actually doing your body the best thing, you are not. So then banana also, but with the level of carbs, it has a high level of carbs in it. It's high in calories. It contains sugar, and according to research, it contains 14 grams of sugar if you're taking banana every day. So that's what I'm saying. So it contains lots of calories, lot of sugar, and lot of carbs. Also grapes, thinking that grape belong to the citrus family, it contains a lot of sugar and also high in calories. Then lychees that contain vitamin C, contain manganese, but it also contains complex sugar, and which is not good for people living with diabetics and others. Another one which I've seen that is not so good for people living with diabetes, dates. Dates is also good for normal people, for healthy people, but it's not so good for people living with diabetes because it is high in calories and it contains sugar in large quantities. Go and do your research. Just take a date and see if you can take it, and it's sweet. It's not that it's contained a natural sweetener, but it's highly sugary and high in calories. So that's what I do. So that's what you're going to do. So you also need to prevent that. So from what we have said, we have mentioned dates, we have mentioned lychees, grapes, raisin, yes, banana, watermelon, mango, pineapple. All these fruits together are not good for people living with diabetes. But what are those fruits that are very good for people? Even if you want to take all this, you can as well take unripe fruits. So after looking at all these things, you now see that these are the fruits which you can eat and you can avoid if you have diabetes 1 or 2. No matter the types of diabetes, if you have been diagnosed of diabetes 1 or diabetes 2, you can as well as eat some of these fruits which have been mentioned, and do not eat some which have not been mentioned. And the basic truth is that all the tests are based on calorie. The one which we've discussed not to eat are based on high calories, are based on the high sugar level, and are based on other things. But whereas the one which we have discussed, we have mentioned, so that you don't eat all those things, even if you have diabetes 1 or 2, are based on low calories and low sugar content on all these things. So you just need to obey some of these fruits, and there's many more fruits which we are going to be discussing in our next video. So keep your fingers crossed. So in the next video, we are still going to talk about some other fruits. We have so many fruits all over the world that are fit to take if you have diabetes 1 or 2. And there's also so many fruits all over the world which are not really too good for you to eat because they add more to the sugar level. So all this we have mentioned, and all this we are still going to mention in some of our videos subsequent time. So but although there are some of these fruits which I think in one of our videos we talk about eating unripe. There are some unripe fruit like unripe papaya that are good for people with diabetes, either 1 or 2. And also keep your fingers crossed. Better still, subscribe to this channel so we can actually get the best from us, or as we post latest videos. So subscribe, like our videos, and share our videos. See you in our next post. Thank you.